Okay, so picture this. You're wandering through a packed street market in Taiwan, right? You smell all these amazing things, and then you see it. A vendor ladling this steaming, creamy white soup into a bowl. It looks so humble, so comforting, just your everyday street food. But what if I told you that simple bowl of soup has a history that stretches back centuries, all the way to an emperor's court? And what if it was once a secret cure, made just for the most powerful officials in the land? Yeah, let's peel back the layers on this one. So, to get the full story, we have to travel back in time. We're heading to the Qing dynasty, and our story involves one of China's most legendary emperors. It all kicks off with a royal tour that goes, well, a little sideways. So, the legend goes like this. Emperor Qianlong is on this grand tour of southern China with his four top ministers. But, the sticky, humid climate and the long journey, it just wasn't agreeing with them. All four of his guys get super sick. The emperor, totally panicked, calls in the best doctor he can find. And the prescription? It wasn't some crazy exotic potion. It was a simple soup made with 4 herbs and some pork stomach. And guess what? It worked. The ministers drank it, they got better, and the emperor was absolutely thrilled. He was so happy, he gave it an official name, Shen Tang, which means 4 ministers soup. Makes sense, right? But here is where it gets really cool. As this recipe moved south, the local dialect, Minnan, played a little game of telephone. You see, the word for minister, Chen, sounds almost exactly like the word for God, Shen. And since the soup worked so unbelievably well, people just started calling it For God's soup. I mean, it felt divine, so the name just stuck, and that's how a royal remedy became a legendary dish. So who exactly are these 4 gods, or, ministers? It's not about crazy expensive stuff. It's actually all about a perfectly balanced team of herbs working together. Think of them as the golden team of traditional medicine. All right, let's meet the players. First up, we've got lotus seeds. Think of them as the gentle scholar of the group, really good for calming your mind and helping you get a good night's sleep. Next is Uriali ferox seeds. This is the steady gatekeeper. Its job is to strengthen your spleen and soak up extra moisture. Then you've got Chinese yam, the all-around supplier. It's fantastic for gently refueling your body's energy. And last but not least, poria. This one is the professional dehumidifier, just flushing out all that heavy, sluggish feeling. What a team. Now, if you order this soup today, you'll probably find a 5th member has crashed the party. Job's tears. And while it wasn't one of the original 4 ministers, it's also amazing at fighting dampness, so it just fits in so perfectly that now it's basically part of the standard recipe. So we keep talking about dampness. What in the world does that actually mean? And why is this soup the perfect weapon against it? In traditional Chinese medicine, dampness is basically an excess of moisture that gets trapped inside your body. You can get it from living in a human place or even from what you eat. And the symptoms? Feeling heavy, tired, bloated, maybe even a little puffy, just kind of blah. So you can think of Shen Tang as your body's own personal, all-natural dehumidifier. And, unlike some of those really intense health tonics that can be too strong or heaty for your system, Shen Tang is so gentle. It's beautifully balanced. It doesn't force your body to do anything. It kind of quietly helps it find its balance again. That's the real magic. And it's why pretty much anyone can enjoy it any time of year. Okay, so you know the history, you know the science, but let's get down to what really matters. How does it taste? More importantly, how can you spot an amazing bowl of Shen Tang when you're out and about? There are 3 dead giveaways. First, look at the table. If you see a bottle of dong gui, that's angelica root, steeped in rice wine, that's a very good sign. That's the secret finishing move. Second, the pork. The texture has to be perfect. It should be tender, but with a nice springy bite to it, never tough or rubbery. And finally, look at the soup itself. A real deal Shen Tang isn't clear. It should be this gorgeous, creamy, milky white color. That's how you know all the starchy goodness has been cooked out of the herbs. Which kind of begs the question, right? Why add that dangui wine at the very end? Why not just toss it in the pot from the beginning? This is where the genius of the recipe comes in. It's all about preserving that amazing fragrance. See, if you cook dangui for too long, it gets bitter, and its really powerful aroma would just steamroll all the other delicate flavors. By adding it right at the end, you get all of that beautiful scent and flavor without ruining that perfect, delicate balance. So clever. All right, a couple of quick questions people always ask. Can you get it vegetarian? Totally. You can just swap out the pork for things like mushrooms, cashews, even chestnuts. And what if you're pregnant? Well, the 4 original herbs are fantastic, but it's usually a good idea to skip the jobs tiers just to be safe. So all you have to do is ask. So, feeling inspired to try the Emperor's Care? Good news. You don't need a team of royal chefs. You can actually make this at home, and it's way easier than you think. Let me give you the super simple, practically foolproof rice cooker recipe. First, just go to an Asian grocery and buy a pre-made Shen herb packet. Then, give the herbs a quick rinse, blanch some pork ribs to clean them up a bit, and then literally just throw everything into your rice cooker with some water. Hit the start button. When it's done, all you need is a little pinch of salt, maybe that splash of rice wine, and that's it. You're done. Your entire house is going to smell amazing. So, from an emperor's secret remedy to a humble bowl of street food, Shen Tang is so much more than just a soup. We live in a world that's always chasing things that are faster, fiercer, more precise. But this gentle soup teaches us something different. It reminds us of the quiet, deep power of being calm, steady, and gentle. So next time you're feeling a little out of sorts, maybe the answer isn't something extreme. Maybe it's just a warm, comforting bowl of history.